In the game.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to call the Brawley City Council and Successor Agency meeting to order this evening, Tuesday, April the 15th at 6 p.m. Can I have the roll call, please?
The minutes will reflect all council members present.
We're going to have the invocation by Pastor Mike Newchak from El Redentor Church and the Pledge of Allegiance by Council Member Mayor Pro Tem Mr. Nava.
Father, we stand before you humbly this evening, and we want to thank you for bringing our city this far in trials and tribulation, financial issues, and so many things that we're facing lately. We thank you for hearing the prayer of your people concerning the beef plant and the extension of 2 months. And Lord, we're going to trust you that you're going to work things out, that the people who are at risk of losing their job will not lose their jobs. Please lead and direct our city leaders, give them the wisdom, give them the understanding that they need in negotiating and in looking out for other areas of employment for the citizens of our city. We ask and pray all this in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Please face the flag and join me. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Mr. Nawa, for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as
Second.
written.
There's a motion and a second to approve the agenda as written. The next item on the agenda is public and appearance comments.
We got to vote.
Oh,
We got to vote.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public and appearance comments. This is the time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter's jurisdiction of the city council. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name for the record. You are not allowed to make personal attacks on individuals or make comments which are slanders or which may invade an individual's personal privacy. Please direct your questions and comments to the city council. And if someone wants to come up, this is the time to do so.
Would you pass the couch?
And while this is going on, we're gonna give you guys.
No, go ahead. Sir.
My name is Liz Lorenzen, and I live on Sunset Drive. And I just want to thank the City Council, and I want to thank Yasmin Ariano for putting in the new alley behind my house.
Oh.
It's really nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. You're welcome.
It does look nice. A big improvement there, so we all agreed on that.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, and staff. Jason Zara of Brawley Chamber of Commerce. As I'm sure you're well aware, we had this little event this past weekend, and I just wanted to come out here and say once again thank you very much for the city staff support. The decision to move the farmers market to Main Street, to combine it with the Taking Back Main and the concert, I admit it had me a little bit nervous. There were a lot of logistical hurdles to move the event up there. And I knew we could do it, but I wouldn't have ever believed how smoothly it would run, and that was entirely thanks to the city staff. The Parks and Recs guys were incredible. They're out there working hard. They made, even when there were a couple little bumps in the road and things didn't go as planned, you would have never noticed because they just worked a little bit harder and made it all go smoothly. So it was a fantastic day. The editorial in the Ivy Press was a really nice way to sum it up, that the North End coming together to put on a joint event and make it the place to be here in Brawley on Main Street. Very, very proud day for all of us, so thank you, and we look forward to the next one.
Thank you for your efforts.
Thank you.
Good evening. Hello.
Hi.
Good evening.
Hi. My name is Rosemary Wood, and I'm just here to first thank Mr. Campbell, Mayor Campbell, for coming to Patty Scirocco Lang's retirement and presenting her with a proclamation. So I appreciate it so much. It was a wonderful event, and saying thank you to Patty for all of what she's done. with that said, I'm here to formally introduce myself to the council. I am Rosemary Wood. I'm the new Executive Director of North County Coalition for the Arts. And I wanted to present myself and my team to you because, Patty, I have big shoes to fill. I can't do it all myself. So I have Megan Strong, who's here. And she's our creative educational director, so she will be helping us continue programs to educate our children and inspire our children in the arts. And then we have Jay Kruger, who is the director of digital and visual arts. As I am not a visual artist, I am a performing artist, so we need to split the team up and become one, and I really appreciate them saying yes. As you know, these are volunteer positions, and so we do work diligently together in our spare time and to try to bring more of the arts culture here in Brawley and in the North End. I just wanted to present ourselves formally, and I also wanted to ask the council to consider some of the proposals we will be bringing forth in the next couple of months or whenever we can get scheduled. I know you're very busy tonight, but one of the things that we'd like to present to the council is an arts district, an idea of an arts district or corridor. And that will mean North County Coalition for the Arts to be able to start writing some grants. And we will glad to answer all your questions at that time, but there are some beneficials to revitalizing the downtown area with an arts district. So I hope you consider. So thank you.
Mrs. Woods, I just want to say that I really enjoyed the meeting that we had, and you and I and our city manager, and we talked about some of these ideas, and I just wanted her to come tonight and introduce herself and the folks that she's working with, and we can set a later date and time for her to give us a briefing of the ideas and the arts that she's talked about to help beautify Main Street. I think it's really needed, and I want to thank you so much. And I did go to that award for Patty, and to read off those shoes is like that big.
Yes. Well, I am also glad to announce that Palmer will be back on its feet, coming out of the dark real soon. The Brawley Union High School District approved on April 9th to renovate Palmer. So it should be up and running by the end of the summer for a new fiscal year, so that hopefully you'll be seeing more school concerts and community theater. So that's a huge component to us.
Is there any question from council before Mrs. Woodley? Okay.
On the theater, have you any report on that, how we're coming along with that?
The Brawley Playhouse Theater?
Yes.
That's still in the works. We have a committee together, and Jay's part of the committee, and that's still in the works. And that would definitely be something we would definitely present to the city, obviously. But we're really excited.
It's slow and steady progress, but it's good to see, and then now that Palmer's going to be back operational, I think it's great for the city. So
yeah, we're really excited.
And you'll be surprised when she does come back to reporter. And Jay, there's a lot of great ideas they're coming up with, especially for the Main Street. So hopefully that'll be soon.
Yeah, we'll get that date scheduled soon.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the public like to come up at this time?
Is that it?
Yes. Okay, seeing none, then we'll move on to the next item on the agenda is the proclamation declaring National Library Week. And I do want to introduce some of the trustees on the library board. Liz Lawrenson, Mrs. Judy Grant, and our own council member, Mr. Donnie Wharton. Okay, and what I've got here is a proclamation for National Library Week. And whereas libraries everywhere play a vital role in supporting the quality of life in their communities, whereas our nation's school, academic, public, and special libraries make difference in the lives of millions of Americans today more than ever. Whereas librarians are trained professionals helping people of all ages and backgrounds and interpret the information they need to live, learn, and work in a challenging economy. Whereas librarians serve as crucial technology hubs for people in need of the internet, access computers, training, and employment assistance. Whereas librarians are part of American Dream, places for opportunity, education, self-helping, and lifelong learning. Whereas libraries use is up nationwide among all types of librarian users, continuing a decade-long trend. Whereas libraries, library workers, and supporters across America are celebrating National Library Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Don C. Campbell, Mayor of the City of Brawley, California, proclaim National Library Week April the 13th through the 19th, 2014. I encourage all residents to visit the library this week to take advantage of the wonderful library resources available at our library. Communities strive at our library. Thank you guys very much, and I'll bring this proclamation up.
Is it broken on top there, Don? Is there a piece of broken glass there? Is there?
Show it to Mr. Grant.
We'll do this and then we'll...
Don't be shy.
Marjo's not shy about the picture. She already has her footing on the base there. You know? That's where she...
We enjoy you being on our team. Yes, you do.
That's nice.
I got an excused absence.
Yeah, you guys are welcome to say a few words if you like.
Well, I don't know. This is pretty special, actually. It is. We really appreciate the support that we get from the City Council. We really, really do appreciate the fact that the city manager is almost at every meeting that we have. We meet once a month, and that Mr. Warden is our liaison, and he comes to all the meetings too.
Except for last month. But he has an excused absence.
Actually, in the minutes that he was excused.
That's right. You know, and you're right, because we met that day.
But this is pretty special, and I know there's going to be a place probably in the board room where we can hang it up. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I could not, I do want to extend, though, the wonderful work that this board does do on a monthly basis. They're not only dedicated, but as I've come to find out, I will tell you, it was a little bit, made me a little bit nervous at first that I was in a room full of either educators, people who inspire many people, and I can say that being a part of it, I've learned a whole lot more, not only about the library, but really about our community as well. So I really appreciate what the board does, and I know the council echoes that.
Well, Brawley is very fortunate to have that library and to have, I don't know if you all are aware of how really special it is that we have a branch. I mean, that says so much about our community that we have a branch of the main library. I just think it's, as a teacher and a reader, I just think it's wonderful. And thank you.
If you have 5 minutes and you can stay just for 5 minutes, we're going to show a little video. It's on some of the things that happened over the weekend, so
Yeah.
wouldn't want you to miss it.
We'll do this next proclamation, and then Judge will run it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. We'll do this next proclamation, and then we'll run the video. Okay, the next proclamation is declaring Telecommunications Week, April the 14th through the 19th, 2014, in the city of Brawley. And I have a proclamation, and Regina Kim and Megan Caldwell, are they here? Okay.
Here comes Chief.
And this proclamation, whereas National Telecommunication Week has been designated as April the 13th through April the 19th, 2014, whereas public safety communication professionals serve the public in counties, ways as dedicated and women. What is that?
No. They're just admiring.
And
This is what we do. We watch
oh, okay. I'm like, Chief, am I supposed to be reading? responding to calls and dispatching assistance to help save lives, property, and preserve the peace of our citizens. And whereas without the essential communications link provided by communications operators, officers, firefighters, and EMS personnel would be hampered in their ability to function and serve as guardians of our public safety. And whereas during the National Telecommunication Week, April the 13th through the 19th, 2014, these professionals who perform their duties often without recognition are honored for their hard work and dedication. Therefore, the City of Brawley has hereby proclaimed April the 13th through the 19th of 2014 as National Telecommunication Week in Brawley, California, and herein wishes to recognize all emergency communication operators handling police, fire, and medical calls who work for the city, county, state, and federal agencies throughout the Imperial County by dedicating the week of April the 13th through the 19th, 2014 as National Telecommunication Week for achievements and professionalism. Give the guys a proclamation, and then the floor is yours.
Now you have to face the camera. Get in there, Chief. Get in there, Chief. Come over here.
Oh, yeah.
He's hiding out in the back. You're gonna make Chuck get over there.
Someone give him a ladder.
No.
Give him a ladder. Give him.
That's why you did it. Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
One more over here.
One more.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Use your dispatch voice.
Gina, you can do it. You can do it.
Thank you.
Okay, see?
See how easy it was? Is that it?
I'm not good at public speaking, but thank you very much. It means a lot to not only Brawley, but every agency here in the county. And that's it.
You're a great
Thank
public
you.
speaker.
Oh, we will be having a luncheon on Thursday to celebrate all the hard work and dedication from all of the agencies here in the county. So,
Fantastic.
thank
No.
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you guys very much.
Very good.
Thank you, ladies. And as you're going out the door, I do want to remind everyone, when you dial that number, that's the voice. These are the faces that you are seeing. But we truly thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, before we move on, we're going to...
Mr. Mayor, if I could, there's a short presentation from our friends at the Public Spectrum that they put it together for us. It's regarding this past weekend's events, and it's a few minutes long, but I think it's well produced, and I think you'll enjoy it. So.
The arrow on the bottom, George?
It's right there. Let me see.
No, over here in the bottom. The volume's on already.
The volume's up.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
At the bottom?
There we go.
The city and community of Brawley had their inaugural Mega Main Street event that brought hundreds of people out to celebrate all that's wonderful in beautiful Brawley.
Really exciting. We talked about relocating the Cesar Chavez and bringing everything down the Main Street. And our attempt here today is to get everybody together. And basically what that does is it has a mixture of all kinds, young, middle-aged, older folks. We can all get together and just kind of have a good time and enjoy the city.
Very excited about it today. We're calling it the Mega Main Street event. And it's really just a combination of three fantastic events that have been held historically here in Brawley. We've all come together for a big shutdown Main Street celebration, if you will. So we'll kick off with Farmers Market here very shortly. That'll roll right into later this afternoon with the Lucha Libre Wrestling. And then we'll roll into the evening with the Cesar Chavez. Basically, we have multiple acts coming, concert. So the events will go right into the evening and put it all together. I think there's something for everybody.
We partnered up with the Chamber of Commerce, which is hosting the Farmers Market, and the Institute for Socioeconomic Justice. We are part of Taking Back Main Street, which is a Brawley Main Street committee. We hosted an event last year called Taking Back Main Street, where we featured Lucha Libre and a hamburger cook-off. We weren't able to do the hamburger cook-off this year, but we were able to partner with some great organizations. The activities begin at noon, and they're going to go all the way through 11 at night, and there's something for everybody here.
Well, we've always worked very closely with the city on putting together the farmers markets. This is our 6th one. We're going to do 7 total for the season. The last one's in May.
We really wanted to start a homegrown event with homegrown produce. I mean, we live in this beautiful Imperial Valley that has tons and tons of fresh commodities each year, and there's no reason that Brawley shouldn't be a part of that. So we really wanted to bring local produce, julienne apple pies, different things for people to have access to. Yes, come down and join us for our last farmers market next month in May. We'd love to have you. It's getting bigger and better each year.
There you go. So, there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. But I did want to thank our friends at the Public Spectrum for putting that together for us. I think it features some of the things that take place here in the city, and I think they did a great job. So, thank you, Public Spectrum.
Yeah. And before we move on, a little note to the chamber and all the Brawley staff, and to Donnie and George for you guys' direct involvement with this activity. That was a really, really nice Saturday. We had a good time. Brawley Pop Warner had a little setup there and registering kids for Pop Warner, and I think there was not a minute of disturbance or trouble. Everybody had a really good, blessed time, and I want to congratulate all you guys for all the work, and you don't stop hearing it in the paper, and people at work, and everybody is really talking about how nice it was. So I want to give you guys a round of applause.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, before we move on to the consent agenda, I do want to recognize some folks here that's from the schools. The Fight Like a Princess 5K, and if Marlene Ramirez can come up and we can introduce the folks that are with her, and she can kind of talk about the fundraiser that they're getting ready to put on. So.
Hi, hello. First of all, thank you for having us. My name is Marlene Ramirez.
I'm Vanessa Salva. I'm Andrea Colado.
I'm Julio Cortez.
And basically, he's going to give you guys information.
Okay.
Hi. My group and I, we're all seniors at Brawley Union High School, and we're voluntarily putting on a 5K glow run / 1 mile walk in support for a little girl from Hopeville. Her name is Kaylin Andrea Eaton.
Thank you.
She has Ewing sarcoma, which is a rare bone cancer, which she has in her leg. And we're hoping that we could reach out to the city of Brawley in hopes of getting the word out about our event, helping this little girl out as much as possible, being able to raise as much money to ease the burden on her and her, as well as her family, in regards to expenses, being hospital, transportation, and anything of that sort. And as I said, we came out to hope to reach out to the city of Brawley and see if we could get the word out about our event, and if in any case anyone would be generous enough to help us in this event by donating in any way possible, which we would greatly appreciate to help this little girl.
Okay, so if you can tell us the dates and times and where to donate, so that way everybody kind of know what the program is and where to send the donations to.
The date is going to take place April 26th of this month. Registration is going to be at 7, and the race is going to start at 8 p.m.
8 a.m. 8 p.m.
p.m. It's going to be a glow run.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It's at night. It's
And
at
the location?
Warrenfield. I don't know the street. Sorry.
Magnolia.
Warrenfield.
Yes.
Warrenfield.
Off of A.
Yeah.
If you don't know Warrenfield, you don't deserve it.
The race it's going to start at Warrenfield, and it's going to continue through Pat Williams, but it's gonna finish at Warrenfield as well. We're gonna have spotters around all the track areas, so everyone will feel safe. And yes, exactly. We'll have gliders.
Okay, baby. And if people want to donate, how do they get that to you guys? Or
these papers, there's 2 addresses that can be sent to.
We can duplicate
The
that.
name
We
can
make
be
copies.
to Marlene Ramirez.
I've already signed it.
For the checks.
Okay.
Any donations?
What made you want to do this kind of fundraiser?
Well, basically, it was a senior project. They said to help the community. Everyone is, well, every person, every year that I've seen was a blood bank. And we wanted, well, me personally, my dad has had cancer, and so cancer is a big thing for me. So I saw this little girl on Facebook, and I told them, hey, let's do it to help her. Let's do a 5K, because we were in cross country. So we said, you know what, let's do a 5K. We've done this before. It's going to be a struggle. It's new to us. We've gone. There were struggles in between, but we're learning for the future.
And dear, I'll reach out to the people at Brawley Papuana, because they have a website, and we'll post it on there too, and try to get the information out to help you guys as much as we can.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for doing this.
I really like you guys' courage. Good job.
It's good. It's hard organizing events. People don't realize that sometimes, but it really is. You know,
You guys know that.
I've done enough of them to know all the, it's ups and downs. But I encourage you to keep on doing it. So, congratulations on your effort, and I hope everything goes well for you.
Yes.
And if you need any help, Mr. Nava and Mr. Wharton are experts by now.
Not only we will volunteer Councilwoman Noriega, so you can count on me to do that. So.
I'll cook.
There you go.
Okay, and we'll be there to support you guys. Thank you
Thank
guys
you.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's another one, right? Is it that was
that's
the
it.
board.
Yeah. Okay, and then the next item on the agenda, we're going to move right along, is the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are approved by one motion. Council members or members of the public may request consent items to be considered separately at a time determined by the mayor. And is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Mr. Mayor, may I please suggest one correction, which is under item 3D
Yes.
regarding the budget adjustment associated with our one-third payment of the penalty to the Regional Water Quality Control Board. The figure should be a decimal point, not a comma in front of the zero. So it's $333,333.
Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda, correcting the dollar figure to include the decimal point and exclude the comma.
Okay, we got a motion. Is there a second to approve the consent agenda with that correction? There's a motion and a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Moving right along, we're going to go down to regular business 4A, and that is page 84 through 88 in your packet. Review and potential action regarding consolidated contracting opportunity for public dollar right services.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Council members. Yasmin Arellano, Public Works Director. At the request of the local agencies of Brawley, Calexico, El Centro, Imperial, and the West Shores communities of the Southern Sea, the ICTC, the Imperial County Transportation Commission, conducted a request for proposals for a consolidated public paratransit service, commonly known as Dial-A-Ride. The service consolidation, it's planned to include the program management, dispatching, the scheduling, the maintenance and marketing by a turnkey paratransit provider with the ICTC as an administering agency. A proposal evaluation committee was formed by one representative for every agency of the ones mentioned previously. The agencies reviewed and scored the proposals based on technical qualifications, experience, proposed methodology, the staff qualifications, experience, the DBE, which is a disadvantaged business enterprise, goal attainment, facilities, equipment, references, and cost. Based on the proposals, based on those scores, 4 finalists were invited for an oral interview. The oral interview scores were based on operations, on management, on experience, vehicle procurement, proposed facility, use of technology, and bilingual capabilities. The main objective for this service consolidation is the opportunity for greater efficiencies in all aspects, from better compliance with regulations to new technologies with reservations and dispatch. In addition, Mr. Baza, Ms. Kathy Williams, and Mr. Salgado from the Imperial County Transportation Commission are here to answer any questions in regards to the request for proposals process.
Okay. Before we have them come up, there's any questions from council? Just on any clarification or? Okay. There's no question from council, so Mark, you want to come up? Anybody want to come up and?
Mayor, we are available for any questions that you may have, but I think Yasmin captured the essence, and the action that we're looking for is whether or not you would like to proceed with the consolidated dial ride process.
Okay. City Manager?
Mayor Campbell, if it is helpful to the process, we do have some members of the public here that are present that may wish to address the council with comments or concerns relative to this action item.
Sure. Is there anyone from the public or some in the audience like to come up? Okay. Okay. Not seeing anyone that wants to come up.
Mr. Mayor, could I, just for kind of a minor clarifying question, but the interviews have not, the oral, that has not taken place yet, or that has?
That has.
And that's what's helped to formulate this list?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There's a ranking list, yeah.
And that was my next question. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Is that, so they're kind of numerically listed. Is that actually ranking, or is it just a list?
It is a ranking that came from the evaluation process that all the cities and ICTC participated in the process.
Yeah. Considering all the factors that were mentioned.
Right.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah, all of that's taking place, and this review is for council information. And for the way I understand it, ICTC is going to administer even the selection process. So,
yeah, the selection process isn't finalized, as we would need for this process to be finalized for us to be able to move forward. Each of the cities will be meeting. Yours is today. Imperial will be meeting on May 7th, and both El Centro and Calexico will be meeting on May 6th to take similar action.
Do you take into consideration public's comments on this? You know, if they've sent you letters or if they've made phone calls to our city manager, do you take those comments into consideration when you evaluate the whole situation?
Generally, we try to keep the process focused on the requirements and the request for proposals, and that they should have responded to that. Right. If they have provided any letters of support for their services, we certainly would include that into the process. But I think, I would tell you, I think that I feel very confident because we've developed a fair and equitable process that we treated all firms the same. That we asked the same questions. We look forward to hearing responses along the lines, as Yasmin said, operations and management, how they would deal with the administrating agency. In this case, it would be ICTC, and that each of the cities participated and heard all of their responses to that process. So each interview gave each interviewing company or agency an opportunity to tell us everything about how they would do this.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion if there are no other questions.
I'm fine.
Is he going to make a comment?
A lot of feedback there.
Mine too. Chris Ferguson, 1688 Street. I have questions, and maybe this is not the time, or maybe this is the time to ask them. Using a dial-a-ride service from, say, my house to Walmart is not the same as, say, someone who needs to go from the Imperial Valley Mall to the El Centro Walmart, or even further north. Are the prices going to be the same in each city? Because you have different traffic issues in Calexico compared to Brawley, compared to the other cities. That'd be one of my concerns. I would hope that would be addressed in due course. I would also have other questions about, is there like a guaranteed time? How many vehicles are going to be per city? Because again, the needs in Calexico, they have a older population. Brawley has their share of senior citizens too. But I would be concerned about that sort of thing, because they do expect a certain level of service in Brawley. And would Brawley be the standard? Would El Centro be the standard? I also noticed that Holtville didn't participate in this process. Did they just say this?
Not all jurisdictions.
Those would be the first two concerns that popped up in my head, because as many of you are aware, I've had issues with public transportation, both locally and throughout the county, and most of them are being addressed. But that would be my chief concern, is that, someone who needs a 10-mile ride from the Imperial Valley Mall to another location in El Centro is not the same as someone going, say, 10 blocks in the middle of summer to hit the Walmart in Brawley. So are the prices going to be the same? Is El Centro going to be in charge of the Brawley facility or Calapat? Because not everybody knows the addresses, and it's a waste of gas. I've seen cab companies do this. They'll take someone one side of town to the other side of town, and they'll have another driver go this way, and they're wasting more money in gas than they are collecting fees.
Yeah.
So these are some of the concerns I have just at first glance on this.
Yeah.
Mark,
and we're relying on ICTC to manage this operation.
I'll take a first stab, and Yasmin might have things to add. One is that the dial rides are only proposed to operate within your respective city.
That's right.
And not to provide services outside of the city. We have the Imperial Valley Transit that we offer that current service. In regards to price, that is an issue that we need to work with in each of the cities. Each city has had a price structure, and we would like to come to a consensus about a uniform price, and hopefully it is in the same ballpark as what citizens are currently providing. We also, within your city, I believe that you've allowed the general public to participate on your dial ride, and we feel we have an opportunity to maybe limit that or focus in this service just for seniors and disabled, because in part for your city, because we've implemented the gold, and that's providing a good level of service to your citizens today. And we think that one of the things that dial rides across the U.S. has been focusing on seniors and disabled. But that's certainly an issue that we need to have consensus within the city, as well as within the other participating cities.
Well, pretty much he addressed both questions. I was also going to mention about the ability for eventually to try to for Brawley to separate where dial-a-ride is only for paratransit and the senior communities, and now we have the Gold Line available to the general public. The Gold Line right now is operating every 60 to 70 minutes throughout town. It's going to be evaluated after a year based on demand, and if funding is available, then we could make changes in regard to that. As part of the evaluation, some of the items that were also evaluated was the percentage of the on-time performance by the providers. And that was based also on software and technology for scheduling for dispatching. So it was a very interesting process, and I think all the members of the evaluation panel had the opportunity to evaluate closely not only the proposals but also make recommendations based on the oral interview.
I have one additional item to add to Mr. Ferguson's question. Would we have the same number of vehicles and service for the city as you currently have? And I don't have the specific numbers to say, but we will have at least the same number of hours of service that you currently have, and number of buses that would be available. And if necessary, we'll have a fleet of buses to increase that level of service.
Mr. Baza, one final question. I just saw you have a very thorough process I can see here, which is great. Is the solvency of the program or the entity or vendor in this potential case providing the service, is that evaluated as well? Because I know the subject of price coming up, there is a little bit of you get what you pay for. Just curious about that.
Well, it was certainly part of the factor. They wouldn't have gone to the interview process if that wasn't taken into consideration. That was definitely considered in the process. Price was a factor, but it wasn't the overriding factor. But we believe that we
have addressed that.
Yeah.
Any other questions from council?
This does have to go before the ICTC
Correct.
board for approval. So,
The final selection. Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion to continue to participate in the consolidated contracting opportunity.
Okay.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Mr. Weiser. We're gonna move on to the next item on the agenda, which is 4B. Review and potential action regarding resolution number 2014, resolution of the City of Brawley, California declaring an emergency, ratifying action taken by the city manager, and approval of emergency repairs for the deteriorating water line and impact the street on Southwestern Avenue.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor. Again, council members, Yasmin Arellano, Public Works Director. As mentioned previously, we had a water break on Southwestern Avenue in the vicinity of the alley north of G Street. The break occurred due to a malfunction of the SCADA system at the water treatment plant, where this disturbance caused the pumps, the water distribution pumps, to vary the pressure on the distribution system. The cast iron pipelines corrode over time, and based on soil conditions, and with time, any type of pressure, either internal or external, can create breaks on this brittle material. As they corrode, they become brittle. So some of the problems we're experiencing with some of these cast iron lines. In the past, the city had installed a PVC line plastic pipe on Western Avenue to the alley north of G Street. After 4 attempts and 13 hours by city staff to repair this water line, it was determined that we needed assistance from a contractor for the replacement from the alley north of G all the way to the intersection with Main Street. I have some of the pictures here of the night work. I had an opportunity to present some pictures previously of the city work, but this is from the emergency work at night. This is where this is the point they're saw cutting the cast iron pipe, and this is close to the intersection of Main Street. We closed that street to traffic, and then we also had some problems with the asphalt the water, the long exposure of that break caused the fines to wash out of the asphalt and also in the area in between, creating soft spots. And as you can see here in this picture, most of the asphalt in that area deteriorated to the point that needed replacement. You see here, this is the paving operations after the repair of the water line. This is the base that they repair. Basically, what we did was kind of like an L shape. Did a large rectangle of gutter to gutter, and then we replaced the trench area of the pipe. Another picture here, looking southbound. And this is when they're installing asphalt. And this is on the lift. And this is opened Western Avenue today. Our recommendation is for council to adopt the resolution presented tonight declaring an emergency and ratifying the action taken by the city manager and on the approval for the emergency repairs on deteriorated water and water line and street repairs on Southwestern Avenue.
And everything is complete and finished today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good job, good job. Okay, is there any questions from council? No, okay. Do we have a motion to approve this resolution to declare this incident an emergency?
I'll go ahead and make the motion.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Jasmine.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is 4C, review and potential action to accept fiscal year 2012-13 audited financial statements, and that's on page 96 through 213 of your packet. And Mrs. Waller will give you the briefing.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members. Ruby Waller, Finance Director. In your packets, you have our several reports that have been prepared. They are all the audited financial statements for the fiscal year 12-13, ending June 30th, 2013. What you have in your packets are the annual financial report, the single audit, the TDA report, and then the management report. Items of a highlight, we have a clean opinion overall. And the items of note to highlight are findings, which we, in these, when we present them to council, we go through the findings from the audit. Of the 4 findings that we received last fiscal year, last audit, there are no new findings. We have labeled them. There was a finding for bank reconciliations, parks and recreation, cash receipts, dial-a-ride cash receipts, and capital asset inventory. 3 of the 4 have been completed and implemented. Bank reconciliations is still a continuing item. However, it's not so much, it's still bank reconciliations, but not so much the issue that was before at hand. It's actually expanded. Not so much the issue before was unreconciling the bank statements on a timely manner, and we fixed that. However, what it's expanded to is still dated checks. And with still dated checks is, yes, we do. We have, per our check registers for payroll and accounts payable, there are a number of years of uncashed checks that we have in our unreconciled balances. What we're implementing and proposing to do is it's not going to be implemented for actually through 14. We're going to develop an unclaimed property process for the city, which would allow us to publicly do a public notification that there's a listing available at the city as far as just to identify if there are any unclaimed checks out there, and then individuals can do a claim, inquire of the listing, make a claim for that property, and what we would do is reissue the check and write it off the books. And if that's actually written off the books, if we pay it, and then the ones that don't get claimed, we give a certain period of time, and then that would actually be then is cheap money, which then comes back to the city's general fund. Which with that, what we're trying to do is develop a program, a process, a policy adopted by council, and have that into play as far as to properly do that. I was privy to some of that information from the League of California Cities when the city of Sacramento held the session, that they went through a long, extensive process because they had basically 20 years of uncashed checks. And theirs was pretty extensive, and so we have gone through do we do it as a state? Do we turn over the property, that unclaimed property of the state? Is there, for municipalities, you don't have to follow that where you turn over any unclaimed property to the state. You can handle it at the city level, at the local level, as long as you have policies in place and so forth. So that's what we're looking at as for implementation with this finding. Any questions on that?
No, I would like to say that without having any new findings and resolving 3 of the 4 issues and working on the other one is good news. So
yeah, we worked with the Parks and Rec. We've worked with them as far as that was just cash receipts. As far as not so much our recreational programs, it's just our recreational offerings, such as like Zumba classes, with guitar lessons, things like that. That we actually keep a portion, the city recovers a portion and the rest gets paid out. As far as reconciling those items and having a proper paper trail as far as receipts, cash received, and what we're paying out to those that are actually putting on those different classes.
Any questions from council?
I was just going to ask, are you sending out, I quite not understanding, are you sending out letters to the people that have not cashed the checks?
No. The process would entail is that we just do a public advertising, like a public notice in the paper, and say that the city has identified a certain period of time that there are some unclaimed, uncashed checks. And they are more than welcome to come into the city offices and access it, or what we can do is post it on our website and just provide the link to our website where they could see a listing of names and the amounts. Just similar like to if you go to the state's website and you go and search your name or you see a listing, same thing.
Any particular reason why we don't send out letters to the people?
We don't have a process in place that we tell someone that, oh, well, we noticed that your check hasn't been cashed. Sometimes a lot of those that we have, especially on the accounts payable side, are deposits, water deposits, where people, they do leave a forwarding address, but it just never gets cashed, or we don't have the reason exactly why those checks don't get cashed. But no, we've never had a process in place to actually go and send letters to individual people that haven't cashed checks.
I think just a public notification like that, if you see your name there, you should,
If you don't, well.
Right, and the city of Sacramento.
I'm sorry, not everybody has iPads or computers, or a lot of people don't buy the paper. So I'm
what
not
we would
sure.
do as well is, again, this is not implemented; it's still in the process.
Mm-hmm.
We could put it in all our public access areas. Here, it's the admin offices down at our finance department, utility billing sections. That way, if people the library, all those areas would be places of public notice. We would say do one in the paper as one-time shot, depending on the cost, and then the other would be just noted also on our website, and then there would be a link on our website. We would have an available hard listing as well at our offices, but we would put the information out there as far as to get that out and get as much of the funds claimed as possible.
And Ruby, is it safe to say that's consistent with all other government agencies as well?
Yeah, I was very interested with the city of Sacramento, and they took a process, and learning through their experience as well, and they were very willing to share their information. They actually did a public notice and noticed each and every person, or like each check, which, talking to the state, you don't have to go that elaborate, because just the notification, a general notification published with a reference of where that listing can be found, it would satisfy.
Once people hear that there's potentially checks or money out there, I think they'll be interested in knowing, and it may bring something to their attention too. Maybe they do have the check and they just forgot about it or whatever.
Yeah, and then the thing I want to highlight as well is when we do our bank reconciliations, we don't consider that as cash that's available to the city. That is something that we have already. It's already expensed. It's out there, and we continue to hold that liability until that cash is checked or it's claimed.
Check is cash.
A lot of times people relocate. They relocate at certain periods of time before they come back. So you have to do a public notification.
Is there a figure on how many? Do you know? I mean, maybe not down to the exact claim, but is it a dozen? Is it hundreds? Is it thousands?
No. It's approximately. I think it's in one of the report, and it's if I'm recall correctly, it's about $35,000.
Okay, I wasn't asking for a dollar amount, but no,
Oh,
that's
the
fine. I just meant
individuals?
just how many?
Oh, yeah, I don't have the itemized checks, but it could be pretty lengthy. It is pretty
Right.
lengthy.
I just thought, yeah,
because
the
you
labor
figure
and the staff time. And all
There's
that.
like $25 checks.
Yeah.
20. There's a
Divided
bunch
by
of just
35,000.
Yeah, and you have to
Referee
think
that
on the
never got
payroll
paid.
side, if it's someone that came and worked 1 hour,
Uh-huh.
and it's like a $9 check.
Yeah.
I mean, you have some where we see habits in our activities as far as when checks are cashed. It's like we don't have anybody cash a check for a long time, and then someone deposits 5 checks at one time.
Right.
So we have those
Yeah.
internal efforts that we can do if we can do them internally if they're, like payroll, their employees or.
Okay, Ruby.
Mayor Campbell, this policy, once it is developed, will come to the council in the form of a presentation. So if you don't feel that the notification is adequate, you'll have an opportunity to weigh in and provide guidance relative to whether or not appropriate resources have been assigned. for
Right, and we can
outreach.
identify locations, and we can have that within the policy as well, as include, these are the designated locations that will be posted, and then we can elaborate on that, but we can identify like the library, the admin offices, the utility billing, the post office even, anywhere in that
Okay.
nature. So that is something that we're looking to develop, and so actually was in the works prior to the findings, so.
Sam, you got a question?
Just a comment, Ruby. I noticed you give us a rundown on everything. And I noticed at the end, we have a kind of an overview of our
Yeah.
existing general fund balances and our reserve balance and everything. I think that looks very good. And except for some incidences that we really don't have any control over, it looks like we're on the right track in terms of that general fund balance. In fact, we were increasing it. Now we have some issues with the beef plan and some other things that are going on. But it all looks real good. I mean, I think
Right.
overall for us.
Right, and we were estimating to use 226,000 of the general fund reserve as per the adopted budget. And as you can see, we came up ahead 364,000. However, just to highlight that it was that one-time transfer for all the legal expenses incurred for the utilizing La Paloma.
Yes.
So we did that one-time transfer, which didn't just encompass 12-13, it encompassed other prior years before that.
Right. But it does look like we're still going to maintain the 15% reserve balance as we have established the 2.4 million and everything. So
Correct.
I think there's some real positive things in all this, and it looks like a good report. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ruby.
Mayor Campbell, if I may note, staff has identified a reference within the transportation-related audit, the TDA audit, to IVAG instead of ICTC. We have the correction in progress relative to the documents, so it's noted that while you're accepting tonight's audit documents, there will be a very minor adjustment to that reference.
Yeah, they have been changed already. I did receive that already as far as the reference changes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ruby.
So we need a motion to
yes.
accept.
Is there a motion to accept the financial audit statements as presented?
I move that we do so.
I second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
Motion
you.
carries 5-0. Thank you very much, Ruby.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is item 4D, appointment of designees to International Council of Shopping Centers, Recon, May 18th through May the 20th of 2014 in Las Vegas. And I wanted to bring this to council because we kind of talked about this previously, having Mr. Nava and Mr. Wharton already kind of engaged with some of these vendors and businesses. I thought it would be a good idea if we continue on that path and these two gentlemen go to that conference. I just wanted to bring it back to council and just kind of like for information's sake.
Right. The only comment that I had is May 20th extends into our May meetings. That will be that Tuesday. Do we need to change that date? Do we need to do something along those lines?
That's one question I had.
Yeah. Because they
extends into this. It's our second meeting of the month.
If I'm not mistaken, budget adoption is planned for May 20th, so whatever the date is, we'd welcome a later date.
Yeah.
in the month, at all possible.
May 27th?
Let's just move it to that next Tuesday, the 27th.
May 27th, we could do the meeting then.
Is that okay?
Is that okay with everybody else?
Isn't May
Yeah.
27th the holiday? What is
The
the...
26th is
Okay.
Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
27th is that next day after Memorial Day, the holiday.
Right. Can you guys handle that?
Yeah.
I'm asking the city manager.
Okay, so what I would like to do is get a vote from council on the appointment and moving the regular scheduled meeting from the 20th to the 27th.
Is that, since it's not on the agenda, the scheduled date change, do we need to,
No, for the next meeting.
next meeting we can do it?
Yeah,
That one,
Next meeting, we'll change it? Okay.
We'll put it on the agenda.
on the agenda?
Yeah. Okay, so let me redo that. Can we get a vote for the appointment designees for the conference?
Make a motion to make the appointment of Councilmember Nava and Councilmember Wharton.
Okay, there's a motion and a second.
Second.
There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. And then I'll ask Mrs. Benavides, the city clerk, to put it on the next agenda to change the date from May the 20th to May the 27th.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, the next item on the agenda is departmental reports. And Mrs. Benavides is already at the mic.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members. Shirley Benias, Personnel and Risk Management. I'm talking about the staffing report, the monthly staffing report, just a couple highlights for you. A conditional offer has been made to the first person on the PD's eligibility list. And so that person is in the process of a medical and psychological evaluation. And just please note, beyond the 4 positions that we're recruiting for at this time, there are 3 officers out on medical leave. So we do have quite a few officers not available for service.
Okay. So, so just for clarification, so we have 4 vacancies and 3 officers out on medical. So that's 7.
7 total,
Just so
down from the normal.
And we've got 1 offer out there.
Pardon me?
We've got 1 offer out.
We have 1 person through the conditional offer, and then we have another person on the eligibility list standing by.
Chief, you're going to give council members some badges so we can go work for you.
Badges? You got a badge?
You making badge?
You got a badge.
I'm just messing
Well,
with
we kind of have one.
Thank you, Taj. I don't know if I trust Don with a gun.
Yeah, I don't think so, no.
Also, just FYI, the graffiti abatement worker is no longer with the city. He has resigned, and so we are currently recruiting. I posted the position today, about 12 o'clock today, and so we're accepting applications to Friday. And this is a 25 hours to 40-hour work week, $10 an hour.
Yeah, we need that.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Any questions?
Any questions from council?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nance. Okay. Update on the Brawley roadway projects.
Continuing on my presentation, this is the West A Street rehabilitation. What they did this week, well, last week and this week, they're doing what we call they did the final layer of asphalt, and they're also doing the intersection treatments. This is West A.
So
And this is the Parkside area, again doing stop treatments, intersection treatments. This is Rio Vista, the shoving area that we repaired, north and south.
The corners.
Residential area. This is the airport. As you can see, we are finalizing the placement of the Class 2 on the Phase 1. We split this project into 2 phases, construction phases, so that the tenants have access to their hangars. This, after placement of the Class 2 base, is treated with oil, and this is also some of the concrete work that is taking place for the internal drains. And this is the asphalt test strip that they did on the south part of the airport. Now, panel. We have the safety inspection by the California Department of Transportation. Most of the items that were brought up to our attention have to do with signage and striping. And just to give you an example, I'm going to try to explain. Basically, what's wrong with, they want this sign to be here. So we have this sign on the median, so this is looking westbound, so they want the same sign here.
Right.
Now that we opened, that we're going to open this intersection, they would like this sign that is right now authorizing a U-turn. It has to be changed to this type of sign.
Okay.
Because it's a turn.
Yeah. Right.
All right.
And then same thing here. This is looking eastbound. This is on the Walmart side.
Right.
So they want this exact same sign on the median on the opposite side. Okay, so these are the signs.
It's minor.
All right.
The sign problems.
minor stuff.
Okay, and let's go into a little bit more complicated items.
That is
This is
like
this is peeling me off.
The complicated item has to do with
can't believe
this
that.
handicap
They're
ramp
peeving me
here, which, by the way, they say that perhaps we should do it, but the problem is that now that it's already written in their inspection report, city staff, as well as having conversation with Caltrans staff, because we're still going to go through another final inspection, we think that it's going to be beneficial to do this handicap ramp and allow some type of connectivity to the pedestrian push button. So it's going to look something like this.
Jasmine, I have a question.
Yes.
Can we negotiate with Caltrans and say, hey, look, we're willing to do the handicap ramp and stuff, even though it's leading to nowhere, just so we can get the road open?
Yeah. Well, that's what they're talking about.
Yes,
doing.
and that's what we're doing. We had a meeting with Caltrans staff to try to phase these improvements. We already contacted the contractor, Hazard Construction. We're waiting on a quote from them to do this, and also on a response from the subcontractors on the time frame. And they've agreed to allow us to allow some type of phasing, to incorporate the phasing. But we have to give them time frames, and we don't have those time frames yet from the contractor. We're pressuring the contractor for the time frames, and then we also need striping, kind of like straight through arrows right here, so right here and right here. And that is basically it.
Yeah. So your feeling is they'll allow us to do the opening with all the other changes and with the handicap in process, basically?
As soon as we have some times
Timelines,
identified,
okay.
yes, we can present a formal request in writing.
We can open without that being done.
As long as
We
we're
are
working
going to present that request in writing, and then
while it's in
hopefully
process.
they will let us
They're
know.
really making me very angry.
Yes.
But be that as it may, it's like no one's going to cross there, no one's going to go down that way, and it doesn't. As long as we promise to do it when that develops, it seems to me that ought to be sufficient for Caltrans. If we promise to do that as that develops on that side, I can't see why they would stop this. Now we're having to promise that we're going to do this in terms of time frames sooner than that for it to go nowhere. And
That is correct.
It seems ludicrous to me, and it's just added cost for us, and that.
That is correct.
just makes me
It's
very
a
angry.
promise to construct.
But we want to
We want to get it open. Certainly, we can't do anything else, so they're holding us hostage in that respect.
So in the
But
meantime,
at the very least, at least aesthetically, it'll
Yes.
look
I
a little
understand.
bit, you know what
I
mean?
understand all that, but it doesn't make a lot of
So
sense
it-
for holding up the opening of the road.
yeah. So in the meantime, we also did the design already, so we're ready to go as soon as
Okay.
as
All
we
right.
get some time frames and some costs associated with this final changes. Hopefully, we'll be ready to proceed.
And we wonder why California's in such bad condition, but I'll leave that alone.
Because of the regulations they have.
I would like to ask if anybody has any questions in relation to these projects.
Nope.
Thank you very much.
Looks good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Jasmine.
Yasmin.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move right along. The next item on the agenda is informational reports. Is there anything you want to report out? Okay.
Per council protocol.
That's just for information.
They are
So,
here for your edification and for the public's access.
You guys have any questions on the information items there? If none, and then we'll move on to council member reports, and I'll start with Mrs. Noriega.
Okey-doke. And I have them here. I was privileged, along with the mayor, to go to the Taste of the Valley at San Diego State University in Calexico. Talk about variations of different foods. It was very well attended and had quite a bit of different Asian food, Mexican food, Anglo food, every type of food you wanted to taste, and it was somewhat free other than the ticket. Also, I was able to go to the Brawley Union High School board meeting. I continue to go to those along to support the FFA and the ag class for their wanting to open up a park for their animals, something closer and safer for them, for the students. There is a proposal on the floor to put the whole ag on the north end of the high school. We've got 2, maybe 4 trailers on the north end across the street from the regular high school off of A Street. And what they're proposing is to take the 2 trailers out, or the 4 trailers out, and use them on the campus, and then just open up that whole corner there for the ag, just plain ag and FFA. That's what their proposal is. So it's being worked on a little more lengthy to explain what exactly they want to do. So hopefully that will, be approved along with the council members. They will bring it up again, and probably Superintendent Dr. Hasmeek will bring it up to the city manager and explain to her exactly what the situation is, the new proposal. The principal and the vice principal, along with the FFA and the ag class, have brought this up, and so they're going to be working on it. There, of course, more money is involved, so that's what the hang-up is at this point, money. So, and that's it. I was not able to go to the farmers this weekend, nor the Lucha Libre, because I had 7 of my aunts and uncles who came down that I haven't seen in 13 years, and they just left today. But it was a lot of fun. I was their taxi and took them all over the valley. It was exciting to see them. They range from 85 to 68. So they're a lot crazier than I am. So it was nice, though. But that's the reason I did not come to help you, Mr. Wharton and Mr. Nava.
I would have used you.
I will try to do it the next time. Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Mr. Wharton.
Mr. Mayor, just a few things. Obviously, you've already heard about the mega Main Street event, and I think obviously that was a great presentation by Spectrum up there. Kind of summed that up. But actually did attend a little press conference we had, and I'll say that's the first time I attended a press conference in a bar. But for anyone that may have caught that, you wouldn't have known that. So it was actually real nice. It was our final push that we were putting out there. Desert Review, of course, was there in our local press, Ivy Press. The AG, Anthony Garcia Foundation, was also introduced to the press there that day as well. With that, next, I attended the MAG Coalition. I think it's the first time they had this, their sneaker ball, as it was called. And of particular note, I want to point out that it was a great event all the way around, but in particular, we had most of our Valley's chiefs there, including our chief here, Police Chief of Brawley. And I also want to note that he did attend in sneakers as well as our mayor. So, Mayor Pro Tem, I'm gonna give him a pass on that. Those were a different kind of shoe. I thought they were could have gone either way, either sneaker or dressy. But
that's the Air Jordan sneakers.
Absolutely. But if you want to see all these folks in a photograph, I'm sure they're around somewhere. But fantastic cause, obviously, as always, and it was great to see that our law enforcement leadership out there supporting that. And I do want to point out, actually, the warden and our district attorney was there in attendance as well. Along with that, made a quick stop, and I'm not going to steal the thunder of the actual attendees and participants, but we did stop by the Anthony Garcia Foundation. Always a great cause, great scholarship that go out and touch many. And again, not to forget that in our recent history that we've had some true blue wildcat Brawleyites here that have moved on at a young age, and I think coming together again and supporting these causes are tremendously important because they do a lot of good work. And then finally, the Mega Main Street event, folks, all I can say is that I'm barely recovered now. I'm realizing I am getting on, I guess, a little bit, at least age-wise, my back, my feet, and certainly the handshaking and the laughing. But what a tremendous event, and really a labor of love by many of our organizations, in particular, again, our staff, Richard, your staff, the city staff, Yasmin's staff. They work, whether it's morning, noon, or night, before the event, during the event, after the event, always there. One crisis in particular I'd like to point out that our Parks and Recs director helped solve is we were in jeopardy of warm beer, and that was solved at a moment's notice. And I want to point out one of our local cities vendors stepped up and did what they had to do to take care of that. So again, thank you to everybody. I really appreciate that and look forward to what we do upcoming next.
Thank you, Mr. Couchman.
All right. Basically, Saturday I attended the 2K and actually participated in the 2-mile walk for the Anthony Garcia Foundation. That's what Donnie was talking about. Yes, I did participate in that along with our city manager and her children and her husband and everybody, and there was a lot of other people there. Her kids helped me through the walk, because I'm one of those older people that Donnie talks about all the time. And so we did that, and then also I was at the farmers market, and I attended also the Lucha Libre for a few moments. I didn't have a lot of time there, had to go to El Centro, but then I came back later on for the Cesar Chavez celebration, and I was also there in attendance for that. I did attend an IBES meeting that we held here in the city of Brawley to discuss the wind down of that enterprise zone project and how we're going to handle all that, and so we did talk about that. Also, yesterday I attended the Overall Economic Development Commission meeting in El Centro, which is the county Overall Economic Development Commission, and we're working on the economic development plan and getting that update ready, and Brawley chairs that meeting, and so I was there to chair that, and the city manager was there by telephone, and so it was a pretty good group there also. So we're working on that right now, and so they're looking at some new projects, and they're expecting some new projects to come in, and so that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Mr. Couchman. Mr. Nava.
Well, I was able to attend the MAG Coalition event as well, and yes, those were sneakers. They were just leather.
They were sneakers.
But and today's tax day, so happy tax day to everybody here. I hope you had. I hope you had.
Happy.
I've been working on my taxes for a few days, so. But, yeah, finally got that resolved today. So, at any rate, did really want to thank city staff. Fantastic job. Richard, Yasmin, and everybody else within your departments and in the PD and fire department, everybody out there supporting the event and helping throughout. There's so many people involved in making that happen. So I also like to recognize the Chamber and the Farmers Market and, of course, the Institute for allowing us to participate with them. And did want to, again, thank Desert Review, the Ivy Press, and the Public Spectrum for covering the event. We do appreciate that very much. But it is a labor of love. Donnie and I and the rest of our group, we've been working at this for some time. Last year, I think, was very successful, and this year, with our schedules and everything else, it was a little bit more difficult just with the logistics, but because of city staff, because of the other organizations involved, it made it so much easier. So I'm just glad it went on and very positive response. I think there was a few comments in the negative fashion with some of the performers in the Lucha Libre, but overall, I believe the reception was very, very good. And so I'm happy to be part of that. I'm glad it worked out. And again, I do sincerely thank city staff for all the help, and Donnie for all your efforts. I really do appreciate everything you do. So, and of course, council support. We also had our city manager out there volunteering her time and her family's time out there in helping out. So thank you, Rosanna, and your children, and Dean, of course. So thank you, everybody, for helping out on that. I'll move on. Just real quick, I did attend Taste of the Valley at San Diego State. That was really a whole lot of fun. And as Helen mentioned, there was a lot of food all over the place. So I didn't get to taste everything, but the things that I did try were very, very good. And I think people had a good time out there. And so you get to appreciate some of the things that are out there throughout the valley. So I thought that was a good deal. And there's other things that I attended, but I don't want to keep you too long. Again, just thank you very much for the support and for everyone for helping. And you all, obviously, I can't mention you all by name, but you know who you are, and it's truly appreciated, and it's recognized, and it's not forgotten. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Nava. Just a couple of things also. I attended the Taste of the Valley. That was really good. The food is, I don't think it's being possible to try all of that.
Right.
It's just so many booths.
I did see you mostly at the dessert section.
Yeah, I ate a lot of
Right.
sweets.
If you consider wine desserts, yeah.
Yep. And again, my hat goes off to everybody that's been mentioned that's involved in taking back Main Street, and the committee done a fabulous job. I had a great time. My family had a great time. My grandkids had a great time. They were crying when it was time to go home. I'm like, guys, come on. It was like 6:30, and we were taking them home so we can come back, and they were crying.
We were crying at night by the time we wanted to go. We were just like,
yeah.
You guys wanted to go home.
Yeah. But
trying to go.
yeah. I attended the MAG Coalition sneaker ball also, and I was telling Donnie and George, it felt kind of funny wearing a suit and tennis shoes like we used to do when we were in the younger days, you know, but it was pretty comfortable. I kind of liked it. And they gave out, Mrs. Garza gave out awards to different folks that contribute to their cause, and she presented to the city of Brawley from the MAG Coalition. Is basically what it is a bunch of photos over the years and some of the things that with their family events and some of the fundraisers and stuff that they had. So this will be here in the chamber. This is dedicated to the city, so it'll be here for everybody to enjoy. The food was good. Hacienda did a good cooking for us, and it was a good event. And I just want to thank everybody for all that they do for all of our loved ones. And Donnie mentioned we've lost some young folks in our community, and I said it that night. I just don't know. I really don't know how I would handle that if that was one of our kids. You know, the thing that touches me a lot too is when we did the Veterans Memorial this last time. Sheriff Ray Loretta was talking about his son in the military. And he meant it. I know exactly what he meant. You know, when you hear of something going bad and you get soldiers injured and killed, and he said his first thought was, don't let that be my boy. You know, and you can feel that hurt from families and parents. And I think for the Garzas to stand together as they have and continue to do these fundraisers, because it brings it up every time you go about it. So I just ask that we all participate and try to help as much as we can with them, and God bless them and their families and all you guys. I appreciate you guys so much for what you do. Thank you. The next is City Manager's report.
Would like to share an update on Porter Ranch. At our last regularly scheduled council meeting, the council approved the tax sharing agreement between the city and the county relative to this annexation. The project has since gone forward to the Board of Supervisors. It was approved by the Board of Supervisors at last Tuesday's meeting, and it's scheduled for LAFCO this week, the 17th. We are in regular contact with the owner representatives, and we will be present at the April 17th meeting. It is rapidly moving forward in terms of finalizing the annexation, so we wanted to keep you in the loop with that. Also wanted to share that at today's Board of Supervisors meeting, the board, when it's seated as the Air Pollution Control District, part of today's meeting was devoted to approving the MOU for Volunteer Park. So with the Rule 310 dollars, so that's the first phase of what we hope will be multiple phases to address unimproved portions of the property where people park. So we're really excited for that to move forward, very likely in our next fiscal year. And want to applaud staff for pulling together that application rapidly and putting together a compelling case. We competed against a number of other worthy projects, and we're very proud to be successful. I did have some follow-up contact with Superintendent Danielian after last week's board meeting. At this stage, additional investigation is occurring regarding the proposed project on A Street. The school district is communicating to the city that they intend at this point to pursue the conditional use permit process. So this type of a use would ultimately be heard by the Planning Commission. It actually wouldn't come to the council. It would come solely to the Planning Commission. Staff and I have made overtures to the school district that they can utilize at no cost, if they don't want to incur cost while they study, we can use the Development Review Committee format as a way to get feedback from all of our relevant departments so they can go into this next chapter of the program with their eyes open about what possible improvements would be required on site to bring it to city standard. When you drive that site today, you might notice there's gravel on the ground where cars park in the southern portion of that property. An example would be, you don't have unimproved dirt areas on city improved properties, so that would be the type of area where it'd be good for them to understand these are the costs involved to improve a facility that would ultimately come before the Planning Commission for its approval. So I'll keep you apprised of developments as those occur. And I did note just a couple quick comments relative to Ms. Bonilla's personnel staffing report. We do have an offer that is expected to come from our oral interview process on the firefighter end of the universe, and this is for an existing vacancy within the fire department. It doesn't have to do with the next budget year. It's this budget year, so I wanted to be sure you're in the fold as to the status of that activity in the fire department. And with regard to the police department, unless there's some objection to pull the brakes on existing vacancies, we do have another individual on the eligibility list. And in light of the leaves that we have people on, we really do have an issue with the manpower in the department.
Yeah, we need to move forward with that recruitment.
Okay, great. So we'll just assume with our existing approved budget that we have the ability to proceed. Okay, and that's all I have. Mayor Campbell, was there questions?
Not a question, but I have a comment on that volunteer park pavement project. I think that was really nice. I appreciate what the county's doing, and they're going to pave all that dirt on the river and First. Right. They're going to completely pave that for dust litigation, which is good. I mean, it's really good. I mean, so we were fortunate enough to get those grants, those funds from them. So very nice. Yeah,
and it really does get dusty there. Yeah,
because that part
a lot of
is
traffic.
used,
Okay. And it's not real compact. So.
Yeah, it's really used by soccer right now.
I would have reported on that, but I remained silent so I can see Rosanna every Tuesday.
I hear you, Ryan.
I'm sorry, Supervisor Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Mr. Kelly.
We're happy to accept your funds any Tuesday.
There you go. Hey.
Or any other day.
Ryan, that money will be well spent.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on to the treasurer's report. Anything from the treasurer? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move to the city attorney's report.
Nothing to report.
Okay. City clerk?
Nothing to report.
Did you want our supervisor? Yes. Brian, you want to come up for a minute?
Yeah, there's something. Sorry, I got here late.
Not a problem, brother.
What you got here?
I know you wear a bunch
Brian
of
Kelly,
hats.
448 Russell Road. Actually, I got confused. I went to Calpatria. I didn't know which Tuesday and where I was going. But anyways, I made it.
Aging.
That means multiple hats.
Donnie is Donnie.
Donnie's the one that.
Yeah.
So a week ago, yesterday, I made a trip to Sacramento to speak with Trade and Commerce, Governor's Office on GoBiz, and that was in regards to the Gigafactory, the Tesla. I was hoping to get more information because they're acting as a conduit for Tesla's inquiries, and they would not confirm or deny that it is Tesla. And I got a little upset with them because I don't feel comfortable having them as the intermediary between. So there was a lot of good information, but more information that we provided to them because we've heard recently that Arizona is offering 4 cents a kilowatt hour versus what we can do at economic rate is 7.5. So we're continuing to try to get the direct route to the CEO and owner of Tesla to have that conversation. But we're also, with the help of IVEDC, we're making inroads into other battery park entities, some other car manufacturers, and some cathode production companies. So there's a lot of movement, and we are still being considered as a site for that. But if you've noticed, that there are a few things that have taken place in the last 3 weeks. One of those was that the Utility Commission voted down the Arizona transmission line, the 500 kV, to replace the songs, and that would have been out-of-state power that would have replaced songs. That was voted down unanimously by the commissioners, and it was promoted by staff. So there's a lot of good momentum, and the Valley's initiative on a 500 kV line is moving forward. And so we should see some action by that with a commitment by September, which means lots of new opportunities.
Absolutely.
If we get a commitment for that. So that's all I wanted to let you know.
Ryan, thank you very much, brother.
Thank you.
Okay.
Close session.
With that, we'll adjourn this meeting and go into closed session, and I want to thank everybody for coming out this evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.